Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel. Ripple and XRP mentioned during U.S. Congressional Hearing. How it happened, that's the title from crypto media outlet UToday's latest piece. And I want to run through this, what this actually means. Is it a big deal? Is it not? What was going on? What was the purpose of this congressional hearing? Because this is the hottest news on Twitter today, as this congressional hearing did in fact take place today. I'm going to run through that. I've also got this piece from FX Street titled "Ripple's XRP is on the verge of mass adoption." So lots to talk about today. In fact, I'm not going to kid you. Like when I was mapping out my videos earlier today, I had, I think, not 20, but probably close to 20 stories written on Ripple and XRP, which is the most that I can recall in prepping videos. That's substantially more content than I could reasonably cover in one day. And I'll tell you, crypto media is all over Ripple and XRP to a degree that they are not with any other cryptocurrency except Bitcoin. That's it. Not even Ethereum. XRP is just in the news, which tells me it must simply be getting clicks. And in fact, I'll point this out too. Look, the first piece that I cited, which I'm about to dig into, Ripple and XRP mentioned during U.S. Congressional Hearing. Why were Ripple and XRP mentioned when, did you know, maybe you did, maybe you didn't, a bunch of different cryptocurrencies were actually mentioned. But Ripple and XRP get the headline. How about that? But before we go any further, if you would please delicately tap that like button. And if you want if you want answers to all the hard-hitting questions in crypto, such as when Moon and when Lambo, go ahead and subscribe to the Moon Lambo channel, and I will divulge answers to those right now. The answer? Friday, 2 p.m. All right, let's go ahead and dig in now. We'll get into this first piece here. XRP, the third largest cryptocurrency, has been mentioned during a recent congressional hearing called "Is Cash Still King?" Rep. Tom Emmer asked Christina Tetrault, Senior Policy Counsel for Consumer Reports, whether she was familiar with some of the top cryptocurrencies. She had no problem recognizing both Ripple and XRP. And I watched the video clip, and sure enough, Tom Emmer, he did cite first Bitcoin, then Ethereum, and then he goes, I think he said something along the lines of, we're all familiar with Bitcoin, Ethereum, or something to that effect, and he goes, but are you familiar with XRP and Ripple? Or maybe he said Ripple first, I'm not sure. And she said, yes, I'm familiar. And then he went on to talk about, he mentioned EOS and a few others, though. But Ripple and XRP, again, got the headline. I'm telling you, there's something to that. The people in the XRP community, that means me, and it means you listening to this, we are engaged to a degree that I don't think other crypto communities are, and that's because there's freaking something to this. XRP is actually getting used, and I think that the price will ultimately catch up to the real value that XRP and the entire ecosystem therein has to offer here. Now take a look here. So what was this hearing actually about? Well, it goes to this piece, which I got from my buddy XRP Crypto Wolf. Shout out to you, my friend, from Daily Hodl. PayPal exec says Federal Reserve System needs fundamental change, and XRP is indeed mentioned in here. But this is where this other story came from. The House Financial Services Committee held a hearing on Thursday to discuss the rise of fintech and its impact on cash. The committee's task force on financial technology, led by ranking member Tom Emmer, focused on how consumers are making payments in the 21st century and how the digital economy can engage underbanked customers. And look, I do think it's substantial that cryptocurrencies are being spoken about, and specifically Ripple and XRP are both being mentioned here at this congressional hearing. So that's something, all right? But I don't want to overhype it. I feel like there's a certain amount of hype that I just see on Twitter. I got to be honest, and I just think we don't need it. Look, I could not be more bullish. I could not be more bullish on Ripple and XRP. The long-term viability and ultimate price action that we'll see with XRP, I think it's going to be beyond substantial. Now, I want to be clear. I don't have a financial background. I'm not offering financial advice. Don't buy or sell because I just said that, and I'm not saying it to hype. I'm just saying what I genuinely believe. But my point in stating that we don't need to hype up things like this necessarily comes from the awesome fact that there is so much incredible news out there that we don't need who needs hype when there's this much great stuff going around anyway? There's so much legitimate stuff to report on every day. I just got done telling you that out of running this channel for a little over a year, this is the most content in one day that I've ever seen from crypto media. Insane. Absolutely insane. Cannot cover it all. And that should tell you something. And fine, I know that's anecdotal, but it's still a piece of the puzzle to whatever degree. And I notice it because I'm tracking this stuff every day because I'm putting together content every day, and I see this stuff. I'm going to tons of different crypto media outlets, and it is very noticeable to me. So there's no need for hype. Not when there's legitimate good news every day. Like, what's the point? The good news is even better. I want the real stuff, right? But take a look at this. So Rep. Emmer, who has called upon his fellow lawmakers in the past to take more of a pro-crypto stance to improve financial services, began by highlighting the importance of exploring a digital U.S. dollar. And here's a quote. I'd also like to acknowledge the former ranking member French Hill for his efforts in this space. Rep. Hill wrote a letter to the Federal Reserve supporting further research into the concept of a digital dollar. This concept could both speed up transactions and provide convenience for consumers, but it can also extend access to those previously excluded and help bring more people into our increasingly digital world. Now, I'm going to come back to this article in just a second, but I think the video will flow properly if I move over to this one now. This is from October 31st of 2019. It's from Daily Hodl. U.S. lawmaker crafting bill to boost crypto companies, prevent SEC overreach. And it goes back to Tom Emmer. U.S. Representative Tom Emmer says he's writing a bill designed to give crypto companies in the U.S. regulatory clarity. So this guy definitely pro-crypto for sure, and he seems to be well-versed with XRP and what Ripple is doing to build on top of the ledger. The Republican from Minnesota first announced the bill while questioning Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg on October 23rd at a hearing on the company's digital asset Libra. Emmer called out fellow lawmakers whom he says appear to have little understanding of blockchain technology. Yeah, go figure, right? They don't know what the hell they're talking about it, but they sure do have opinions and want to regulate. All right, some of them need to get a little more educated first, perhaps to the degree that Emmer is educated. He seems to know more, what he's talking about more so than, let's just say, more so than some others. And then the piece continues. He says it's paramount that entrepreneurs have assurances that they won't be wrongly targeted if they follow the rules. And here's a quote from him. I think I can safely say that this is at least the second time you've testified before Congress where members end up looking like they have invested absolutely no time learning about new technologies in order to responsibly question tech companies. I think that's a fair takeaway from this hearing. Congress is nowhere close to catching up with some of the most basic changes happening in our society. Mr. Zuckerberg, I have serious concerns about the structure of Libra and its establishment outside the U.S. I also think it's incredibly important to distinguish Libra from cryptocurrency and truly decentralized open public networks. But what I'm most concerned about is Congress and American regulators. Unfortunately, my colleagues have offered several proposals in conjunction with this hearing that could have a tremendously harmful impact on innovation in the United States. A few of these provisions appear to apply securities regulation beyond actual securities. And that is, I'll tell you, that is about the last thing that we want. Have the government just citing that cryptocurrencies are securities when they absolutely, factually are not. But at least, look, Ripple is so engaged with regulators and members of the federal government. I don't imagine that something terrible is going to happen, at least as it pertains to XRP security. I'd be like mind explode type thing. But still, the point is, it's not lost on me that these people need to craft regulation, and they still here. And that was the end of 2019. Still don't know what the hell they're talking about. So let me jump back into this piece because jump forward to today. Leaders from PayPal, the New Economy Project, the Brookings Institute, Consumer Reports, and the U.S. Faster Payments Council were called to give testimony commenting on cryptocurrencies, including Bitcoin, Ethereum, EOS, XRP, Monero, and Zcash, as well as customer authentication and digital payments, among other topics. Usman Ahmed, head of global public policy at PayPal, says that the banking system is due for a revamp, and we do get into XRP here. Take a look. Here's a quote. I would just note that for the core banking architecture, I think there would probably be some changes needed in terms of the Federal Reserve System, but for smaller valuation or smaller amount payments, I think you already are seeing some blockchain-based systems that enable the movement of money. I think there are examples out there. We talk about XRP or others that kind of offer this. And again, that's Usman Ahmed, head of global public policy at PayPal, acknowledging that XRP is actually moving money around the world. Ahmed also says that the cryptography aspect of cryptocurrencies is being leveraged to create solutions that reduce the number of actors with access to sensitive financial information. But, and it gets a little sad panda here, but Christina Tetrout, senior policy counsel at Consumer Reports, argues that the promise of cryptocurrencies has already been lost. Okay, so let's hear this opinion. Here's the quote from Christina. We have looked at cryptocurrency. As if there's like one. I made remarks almost 6 or 7 years ago that the original promise of cryptocurrency was returning power to consumers. And what in fact has happened in the intervening years is that what we've seen is an infrastructure that's built up that's largely acting as an intermediary, that consumers are not truly empowered to be their own bank, and that these intermediaries are often under-regulated, under-supervised, and there aren't clear rules of the road. And so the promise of cryptocurrency in many ways has been lost. There are any number of needs, not the least of which is to fold them into payments law in a more rational way and a rationalized payments law overall. And so look at what she said here in the beginning. Again, remarks 6 or 7 years ago she made about the promise of cryptocurrency was returning power to consumers. That's the point. Okay, well, it depends on what you're talking about, because the way I see it is you're talking about one concept which is centered around one use case, cited originally by Satoshi Nakamoto, creator of Bitcoin, that says, hey, Bitcoin's designed to be a peer-to-peer cash system. Okay, well, again, that's a solution searching a problem, because most people are not having trouble moving their fiat currencies around the world. Now, some people, for ideological reasons, are still on board, and that's one reason that cryptocurrency as a whole won't go away ever. That's one reason. Technology, in terms of can you functionally use it as a currency? Today, it's just no. The answer is no in 2020. Could it get there with the asset class? Sure, probably won't be Bitcoin. But again, that was just one particular use case there. And so if you want to say that's lost, fine. But there are so many other things that you can do with cryptocurrencies. And of course, the one that we're most excited about, being members of the XRP community, is utilizing XRP as a bridge currency, and also utilizing a blend of XRP and ILP to embrace a new form of web monetization via Coil. You can get past paywalls. They're not needed anymore. And as well as having to endure advertisements all over the Webernets. I'm happy to see that go. I would like that to go the way of the dodo, my favorite avian creature, extinct. But still, I get the point that original use case, fine, not coming to fruition. But look, XRP, it's still, if you want to talk about, as you cited here, Christina, returning power to consumers, well, understand that XRP is legitimately decentralized. And so you can talk about the reasons that people would hold it. That's fine. That's a fair discussion. But no, there is no centralized authority there. And so even if it's not being used for retail purchases, so what? Maybe it will one day. But it still is the case that individuals have power over the XRP that they hold, and nobody can frickin' take it from them. That's that. But anyway, that is it for this video. Thank you very much for stopping by. I am not a financial advisor. Do not buy or sell. Oh, God, you know what? I didn't cover this one yet. I better not. I don't know if I've ever done that before, but somebody probably already clicked away from the video thinking I'm done. You know what? I want to go through. This was actually really short anyway, but I'm glad I caught this because I did want to run through this. Ripple's XRP is on the verge of mass adoption. Eric Dadoon. Ripple's XRP is the third largest digital asset with the current market value of $10.2 billion. The coin has lost over 2% of its value in recent 24 hours to trade at 23.4 cents. Actually, and this was from a little bit earlier today. I think XRP is more like 24 cents at the time, but I'd have to check. XRP/USD has been gaining ground since the beginning of the year in sync with the market. The XRP liquidity index in Mexico and the Philippines has been growing recently. Bitso, the largest Mexican exchange, registered a new all-time high at $13 million, leaving the previous record of $12,230,900 far behind. According to a startup investor and XRP supporter Eric Dedoon, this trend illustrates Ripple's growing mass adoption and proves that XRP is used on a daily basis outside speculation. He wrote on Twitter, quote, "The single largest daily use case for a digital asset outside of speculation, and growing both in terms of volume and geographic coverage." So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, could not be more bullish, and that is a factual statement right there. Then he further explained that utility leads to high trading volumes, which in turn supports liquidity growth, widens coins' use cases, and finally increases its value. It's a long way, but we are well on our way, he added. That's it for this video, though. I am actually done this time, I promise. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just a simple XRP bot. Do not buy or sell anything, because if anything I say or write, that would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo!